Okay, today we're going to be going over VFX titling and the different ways to do it. So in the traditional way, you'd have standard titles, and as you can see, they're right up here, and the clips for them are right here on this track, as noted by the title symbol. And I apologize for any avid users that feel like I'm saying things that are obvious, but I have to make this video for everybody. So the cool thing about titles and doing it this way is it would show up here in your timeline as metadata, which means that if you open up your search window and say you want to find this shot, AAM 5560, you would just go into your search and it would jump to it. Well, with the new versions of Avid, we're having to do away with the title tool. And now we've got subcaps, which look like this. Unfortunately, you lose the ability to see the title as metadata. It still shows up here in the picture as a normal title, but you don't have the ability to search. So the solution here is to use timeline clip notes. So what I like to do is highlight all the titles I want to add a timeline clip note to, right click, add timeline clip note, and I just put an X. And the reason I do that is so when I go to my tools, timeline clip notes, all the clips here now have an entry for them, which allows me to enter the data without having to manually click on each clip and hitting add timeline clip note. Now that we've done that, if we go to our timeline and hit clip text, timeline clip notes, you'll see that the titles are now metadata in your timeline. And if you go back to the search window, you'll be able to jump to it. The other advantage of doing it this way is going back to this timeline clip notes window. You can export this data with thumbnails and all of this information just by hitting export to text. You'll see in here it's got a text file with all the metadata in it, and it's also got thumbs for all the shots. Now, one thing we've been doing recently is, in the old way, if we turned over a shot, we'd like to change the color of the title in the timelines so we could identify it as being turned over, not turned over, or other various statuses of the shot. And the way we would do that is we'd take the titles, put them in their own bin, show the pre-compute clips, and change the color. And what that would do is it would change the color on our timeline so we could quickly identify what the status of a shot was. Well, unfortunately, in the new way, we lose that ability, but there is a way around it. If you go into your sequence, you go to your clip color hamburger menu, turn off all of these, except for these two down here, timeline local and source. Segment select the clip, and change the color. It's not as nice as the other way because it requires that you set up the timeline view on everybody's machine to see these that way, and honestly losing the ability to see what's offline does suck, but at least there's some kind of solution that you'll be able to see on the fly instead of no solution at all. Here's a sequence with 9 VFX shots in it, and they've been labeled. Let's say you've turned over a handful of them. So we've turned over this one, this one, this one, and this one. You change your local clip color to green to indicate that they've been turned over. Well, this information is useful to someone that's using the Avid, but it's not very useful when you do an output because the title colors haven't changed. So we want to change the title colors to green. So how do we do that? Well, we could go into our effect editor and change each one manually by clicking the text box here. Or if you want to be really slick, segment select one of the clips, say select by same local clip color, move them up to a track, and then go into your effect editor, go to global properties and make sure that everything is set to track. That means that every subcap effect that you effect on that track will change at the same time. Then select the color you want, in this case green, and hit go. Now you'll see that all of those clips are green. And then all you have to do after that, segment select them, put them back in. So green ones are green, white, green, and so on.